This popular seaside town was the first to be developed for bathing, and in its 19th century heyday, it was a favourite with Queen Victoria, who fondly referred to it as Dear Little Bognor. Further inland, the rolling countryside gives way to the South Downs National Park, featuring 600 square miles of undulating chalk hills speckled with idyllic English villages. The buildings reflect West Sussex's geology. Near the South Downs, many of the houses are built using the abundance of available flint. Move closer to the Weald, and it's sandstone that is the construction material of choice. With its easy access to both the coast and the capital, West Sussex is a much sought-after location for those after a not too remote slice of rural England. I'm going to come straight out with it and say that West Sussex is a very expensive county to go property shopping in. The average price for a detached house here is £454,000. That's an astonishing £155,000 above the national figure. Now, the reasons for that are pretty evident. A, it's very commutable up to London, and B, great swathes of the county are inside the South Downs National Park. And if you've watched this show, you'll know that national parks push up the price. In fact, there's a 21% premium on properties here in the South Downs. So who has decided to choose this beautiful but very expensive county as their new home? Let's meet them. Newlyweds Chris and Ruth, along with their 3-year-old daughter Amelia, live in Surbiton, near the capital.
Surbiton actually has a nickname called Suburbiton because it is the suburbs of London. We find that at weekends or after school, clubs are very busy to get to because there are lots of other families around here, and we're just competing with other cars on the road and
having to plan weeks in advance whenever we want to go out.
A big part of Chris and Ruth's decision to move is centred on their young daughter Amelia. They currently have an end-of-terrace Victorian house, but with plans for more children, our couple feel they need more space and also want to be closer to family.
We've chosen West Sussex because I've got sisters down there. We really get on well. It'd be nice for Amelia to play with her cousins. And I just think it's got some lovely things to offer. Lovely countryside, you've got the South Downs, you've got the coast within easy reach. And I think it'd be really fun.
Chris will be keeping his job in London to fund the move, but despite his longer journey to work, both hope relocating will give the whole family more time together.
This move is going to be a big change for the way that we live. I commute almost daily at the moment. I know that's going to change. Perhaps I'll work from home a bit more.
I think we'll have a lot more freedom down there in Sussex. There'll be the opportunity to just get up and do stuff without having to plan it. It'd be really nice to just wake up, see the sun shining and perhaps call one of my sisters saying, do you fancy meeting up at the beach today? Or meeting up at the park. I'm hoping it will give us some quality family time as well.
The couple are keen on water sports, particularly kayaking. They're hoping this move to the country will offer their daughter the chance to try lots of different activities.
As Amelia grows over the next couple of years, I'd love to start introducing her into that sport. Down in Sussex, they've got loads of small rivers which you can go to. You can have a picnic on the side of the riverbank, things like that. I think they're definitely the things we're trying to look to do.
For the whole family, there's a lot riding on this relocation to the country.
This move is quite a big decision for us. We'd like it to be the house that we live in for the next 10, 20 years. It's going to be our real family home, and we want to get it right.
We're targeting our search close to the town of Horsham, where Chris and Ruth have family and friends. I'm catching up with our 2 buyers who've got some exciting news that could change the type of property they're looking for. Good morning, guys.
Hi. Good morning.
What a great morning here in West Sussex. Thanks for bringing us here. Nice part of the world. So I can totally understand why you want to move here. Now, tell me about the spec of the house that you want us to find you.
Well, we want features.
Character.
What's the total no-no, do you think, Chris, for Ruth?
She certainly doesn't like the big square buildings. It's got to have some sort of characteristics.
Big kitchen diner would be lovely. 4 to 5 bedrooms.
Yeah. We love the fireplaces.
Yeah,
Open
nice
fireplace.
open
Fireplaces.
fireplace.
And in terms of rooms for little Amelia, what is she looking for?
Ideally, a playroom. There's somewhere for her toys at the moment. They're everywhere.
We take over the house, a space for her, and also a child-friendly garden, just open grass space for her to maybe have a trampoline or some swings or a climbing frame, something that we don't have currently. So
Good. So it's Amelia. Any plans for another addition?
yes, we've actually already got one in the making.
Oh, you're pregnant?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And what about the location in the county? Are you fussed about where you are, north or south?
I work in central London, so it is important that there is a good commute.
And remind me again of your budget?
Our budget is going to be £950,000.
Well, that's a lovely, healthy budget, even this close to London. And we've got 3 beautiful houses. I'm very excited to show them to you. It's a gorgeous day. The gods are smiling on us, so
Yeah.
let's get in the car and go and see them.
Yeah,
Great,
excellent,
can't
thank
wait.
you.
With a budget of £950,000, Ruth and Chris are looking to escape the increasingly congested streets of Surbiton to create a country home for a growing family. And they have some important needs. They want a character property, a good-sized kitchen diner, 4 to 5 bedrooms, a large child-friendly garden, and ideally they need to be located close to a mainline station for Chris's commute to London. We've found some fantastic properties to tempt them with, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. One of which will be our mystery house, where we're all guaranteed to be having a ball. Our first property is located in the village of Slinfold. A railway station with fast links to London is just 4 miles away in the town of Horsham. Slinfold lies on the route of a former Roman road linking London and Chichester, and this idyllic village could offer everything our couple needs. At its heart is the 19th century Gothic Revival church built in 1861. There's a real sense of an active community, courtesy of its well-established village hall. Close by there's a post office and a general store, as well as a primary school. Our first property is just a mile from the village centre. The front door to the house is accessed via a shared driveway, which also doubles up for parking. The current owners tend to use the garden entrance to the property, which is where we're starting our tour. Here we are. This is our first offering, house number 1.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It looks sort of ground floor type house.
Yep. There is an upstairs, but it's interesting. It's built in 1905. It was actually the gardener's cottage for this estate,
Oh, okay.
so for the big houses around.
Beautiful gardens.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely walled gardens.
Yeah.
Beautiful apple orchard.
Yeah.
What do you think about the actual style?
Yeah, it's lovely. I can see full-length windows, doors that look out into the garden. It's great. Yeah, can't wait to have a look inside.
Yeah,
Yeah, you too?
definitely. Yeah.
Positive vibes?
Definitely, very much
Yeah.
so.
Let's go.
Thank you.
We're entering through the back door and into a small hallway with direct access to the kitchen diner. Come in, round the step,
Thank you.
straight into this lovely kitchen diner.
Oh, it's very pretty.
Is this what you were looking for?
Yeah, this is lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely beams.
This is charming, isn't
It's
it?
gorgeous.
So the current owners don't live here, so it's slightly stripped down, but that's good because you get to see the bones of the house much more clearly.
I really like it. I mean, it's different to our current layout, so I'm just trying to think of how we'd have it. But it looks like a really good entertaining space as well.
I can see us spending lots of time in here.
The ground floor also includes a second reception room that would make a great playroom for Amelia. There's also a small cloakroom nearby. But next for us is the main drawing room. Down these steps into, I guess this would be the grown-up room.
Very pretty.
Fireplace again. We really like our fireplace in the evening. Wow, and I like the triple aspect as well.
Yeah.
The view all the way around the garden.
Yeah, it's a very warm, cosy room.
In terms of the proportions of the room, is this sort of what you were thinking of?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is much bigger than our current lounge. Definitely.
It is bigger. I'm not sure about the layout, whether the kitchen and the playroom would work. I quite like seeing Amelia play when I'm cooking, but whether that's going to be possible, I don't know.
So what would you ideally like?
I think quite a big open plan space, maybe.
Yeah, I think you'd like her to be able to play and do some drawing on the table. I think the room's big enough for
We could make
that,
it work.
but
We could definitely make it. Yes, it's not. It wouldn't be a deal breaker. Let's put it that way.
This light and pretty drawing room, along with the kitchen diner and second reception, completes the trio of rooms that run along this part of the house. This floor also includes a small double bedroom, plus a good-sized family bathroom with separate shower cubicle. Stairs lead up to a bright landing with doors to 2 ample double bedrooms, both nestling under the slope of the roof. There's also a very neat separate cloakroom. Back down on the ground floor, we're heading through a small inner hallway and into the main bedroom.
So this is the one that they used as a master, which has an ensuite. What are your thoughts about it?
it's a very different layout to what we've been used to.
Yeah.
It's a very ground floor place at the moment, which is different, and it's just trying to adjust to that kind of layout.
The downstairs is obviously a lot bigger than the upstairs, but the character and the style of the home is gorgeous.
I'm getting the feeling that the historic and unconventional arrangement of this house may not be to Chris and Ruth's taste. Perhaps the private garden will be more to their liking. A large lawn covers the third of an acre garden, which is bordered by a charming Victorian wall. Double French doors lead onto a patio area, and there's a good selection of fruit trees and well-established shrubs. They did say they wanted a large, child-friendly space, so I'm hoping the outside might just trigger a change of heart.
I do love the way the garden wraps around the house. That's quite nice. It's very different to what we've got today.
It's a beautiful garden, perfect size for us, actually.
What do you think this one's on the market for?
I think I'm going to say about £850,000.
Okay, that's good, because I was going to say 895.
Well, actually, you're both a bit pessimistic, because actually this is on the market for £825,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's quite well down in your budget.
Yeah.
It's quite encouraging, actually, because if we were to go up to the sort of top end of our budget, it'd be interesting to see what more we could gain.
It's actually finding things around your budget is quite hard.
Yeah.
Because obviously most properties are either over £1 million or well under to avoid the tax.
Sure, you've just got a challenge on your hands.
We've got a challenge. We love a challenge. So it's it's an interesting market that you've picked.
Okay.
Well, have a nice leisurely look around the house, sort of see whether anything is growing on you or bear things in mind for the next property.
Yes.
And I'll see you at the front and then we continue on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Coming in at £125,000 under budget, this character home with a large kitchen diner, 4 double bedrooms, a big walled garden, and a relatively easy 1-hour commute to London for Chris goes a long way to offering the country lifestyle our couple are looking for.
The one thing that strikes me about this house is that it's all on one level. That's not necessarily a problem for us, but it's just something we'd have to adjust to.
I think size-wise, as a family, I don't think it is that small. I think Ruth's got some concerns that I need to understand, but I think we could definitely grow into it. I think it's just Ruth had her mind set on a slightly bigger property.
I love the character and the charm about this property, but I'm not quite sure the space would work for us.
Hey guys, are you all done?
Hi.
Hi, yes.
Yes, we've had a good look round.
Seen enough?
Yes, I think so.
This is a very beautiful orchard, by the way.
It is gorgeous.
One of the trees has a little hole with a blue tit nested inside.
Lots of wildlife for Amelia to explore.
Exactly. But we're gonna shut the doors on this one and move on to the next house, if that's okay.
Great.
Thank you.
West Sussex has more than its fair share of waterways crisscrossing the county, and one of the most beautiful is the stretch of canal that links the rivers Wey and Arun. Constructed in the early 19th century, this 23-mile waterway allowed direct passage from the Thames in London to the English Channel on the West Sussex coast. But by 1871, this revolutionary canal had fallen into disrepair. Today, though, a dedicated team of restorers are bringing this Georgian marvel back to life. Chris and Ruth are keen to explore what the county's waterways have to offer when they move, so they're meeting Graham Lewington from the Wey and Arun Canal Trust.
Can you tell us a bit about the trust?
Well, the Wey and Arun Canals Trust was first formed in 1970 as the Wey and Arun Canal Society. And 3 years later, it became the Trust and a registered charity. And the object of the Trust is to restore London's lost route to the sea.
So who are the members of the Trust?
The members of the Trust are made up of all volunteers. We've got 3,000 members, but of which about 250 are real active members doing roles and actual work on the canal.
So what do you see as the benefits of having the canal open?
Well, we're not only restoring the waterway for canal boats, but also canoeing. But in that process, the Green Corridor provides for nature with the birds, flowers and fauna that come back when you start recovering from the years of neglect.
Clearing the canal was a monumental task. Much of the waterway had been reclaimed and filled in by local landowners. To get an idea of the Trust's plans for the future, Chris and Ruth are meeting volunteer Martin Smithers.
The section we're on now was completed quite a few years ago. Everything that you see is being recreated by the Trust. All the bridges, all the locks, and the canal bed itself.
So what's the plan of the Trust going forward now?
Well, the plan is to reopen the whole 23 miles of the canal.
Wow.
That's a big, big project.
Yeah.
But the Trust, as soon as it gets any money in, will increase the facilities that are available to people to use on the canal.
Next stop is Brewhurst Lock. Restored to its former glory in 2006, it allows the Trust's vessels to manage the change in water levels as they navigate the canal. While Chris and Martin set off to operate the lock, Ruth gets a crash course in navigation.
OK, Ruth, we're just coming out to the lock here. The gates are open, and all we've got to do is just try and slowly go in and avoid hitting anything. Just push it away from you a little bit. That's it, and bring it back into the middle. There we go.
The locks were originally built to accommodate large trading barges, but today the only cargo to navigate through the large swing gates are tourists.
This is the winding gear for opening the paddles to allow the water into the lock.
OK.
Using the windlass.
Yep.
Put it on, turn it round, and it opens up the gates.
OK.
You want to take over?
Yeah, thank you.
Measuring 12 feet wide and 70 feet long, draining and filling the lock gives a 6-foot rise and fall in water, which takes 15 minutes.
OK, Chris, I think we're level now. We can open the gates.
OK, brilliant.
To date, the Wey and Arun Canal Trust have restored and rebuilt 21 bridges, nearly half of the locks, and 2 aqueducts. Our buyers sail off into the sunset and head in the direction of the south coast, which is also the location of our next property. Our destination is the seaside village of Ferring, about a 30-minute drive from Horsham. With its Saxon roots, there's been a settlement on this spot for over 1,500 years, and today the village has a thriving community. The busy high street features a good range of shops, a village hall and a children's playground, making this region of West Sussex a popular place for buyers. Our second property is just a 5-minute walk from the village centre. But this detached house is not all that it seems.
I wanted to show you the back, because the back of the house is mind-bogglingly bigger than the front.
It is. It's great.
I'm really impressed.
Is this more what you were expecting?
Yeah, I love that conservatory. A lovely sized garden. I noticed it backs onto a field.
Yeah, absolutely. And the
overlooking
station,
the film.
Goring by Sea, is just on the other side of that field. It's an
wow.
8-minute walk.
Wow.
Wow.
So Goring is on the main line up into Victoria along the coast.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, though.
Right,
So it's a
okay.
bit longer than you hoped, but you would definitely get a seat.
Yep, yeah, no, that's good.
So this is a bit more what you were looking for?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think
This
so.
looks a little bit bigger.
It's definitely bigger.
So,
Let's get inside, because there's one feature in the kitchen I can't wait to show you.
Oh, excellent.
This substantial house, spread over 2 floors, offers ample living space for a growing family. With no less than 6 reception rooms and a vast L-shaped kitchen, this property is certainly well appointed.
Come on in, country style, straight into the kitchen. Lots of beams, lots of wood in this one.
Yes.
But look at this.
Wow.
Wow, a ready-made playroom where I can see Amelia.
Exactly. You said you wanted to be able to see your daughter play as you cooked.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a beautiful country kitchen.
Yeah.
It's been very well done.
I really like the fact that you can feel the history of this building as soon as you walk in. It's really nice. And I mean, even the beams across the sink, it's fantastic.
Is it your sort of style? Is that what you were kind of hoping for?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we're quite open-minded with different styles, but this is lovely. Looking forward to seeing the rest.
The house really is a fusion of traditional meeting new. Also on this floor is the original entrance porch, a cosy living room with a beehive fireplace and bread oven, a utility room, and a spacious, light-filled dining room with double doors onto the garden. Plus, there's also a large extension, which is where we're heading now.
It's big.
Wow, that is a really nice space.
A great entertaining space, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the wood. It's really blended in. It doesn't look like it's a natural extension. It looks like it's part of the house.
Yeah.
Does it feel like the sort of place you could call home?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I think it all comes down to location.
Right, yes.
It would be a compromise for the commute, the extra time for Chris on the train, but, you know, I think we've got a lot of thinking to do, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we've only seen the first few rooms so far.
Absolutely. Well, so you've got all this downstairs space, and then you've got 4 bedrooms upstairs.
Right.
So it's a more conventional bedrooms upstairs. You've got a study down here and a downstairs loo. But let's go and look at the master.
The beautiful theme of exposed wood continues with the staircase, which takes us up to the first floor.
A much more conventional upstairs master, but loads of storage. Nice ensuite through there. Lots of light.
This is lovely. Really to my taste, actually. I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, this is much better.
Lots of natural light, and even though it's up in the ceiling, it can get quite warm. You can sort of open up these lovely skylight windows.
Yeah.
And then along the corridor, you've got another 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
2 good-sized ones, one a little bit smaller. They're served by a family bathroom. And in terms of the feel of the layout of the house, is this more what you were looking for than the last one?
A lot more conventional, I think.
I'm getting some good vibes from Chris and Ruth about the inside of this house, but I'm not entirely sure about that 90-minute commute to London. I'm hoping the generous outside space is going to help seal the deal. Standing on 1/3 of an acre of land, this very child-friendly space features a level lawn with a large patio sweeping across the back of the property. There's also a selection of outbuildings. And separate from the house is a flint and brick built garage with enough space for 2 cars as well as additional storage. All in all, the grounds could be ideal for a soon-to-be expanding family if the price is right.
OK, so what do you think all this costs?
I'm going to go for £840,000.
OK. I'm going to say 860.
All right, well, you're in the right ballpark. It's a little bit more expensive. It's actually on the market at 875.
OK. Yes.
You don't win the house by getting closest, but, you know.
I know.
Now, this is a very big property, so do take your time to explore, particularly the beautiful kind of entrance porch hallway, the oldest part of the house. And I'll be sunning myself in the garden, so come and collect me on your way out.
Thank you.
At £875,000, this characterful and tastefully extended house offers a lot for its money. A great L-shaped kitchen diner would allow the parents to keep a watchful eye on their children. There are 4 good-sized double bedrooms, and that fabulous garden offers all the space they need. Although further from London, a mainline station is close by.
When I first saw the property, it looked a lot smaller than I expected from the front, and obviously as we came around the back, there was a wow factor to it. The garden really expanded, and it really felt it was a family home.
Chris has fallen for this house, but I'm not so sure I'm willing to come this far south. I'm sure we'll be having long discussions later about what we're willing to compromise on.
In terms of the location, she was hoping for somewhere closer to her sisters. I think for me, I think I could get used to the commute. It's not that much longer. I really like being closer to the sea. You could see us doing a lot of water sports, being down here. I'm quite pleased with it, but I think I'll probably need to start selling things to Ruth if she's going to be convinced.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you all done?
Yes.
This is a big house, isn't there? There's lots to look at.
It is.
But you must have lots to think about, so let's retire and think about it until tomorrow.
OK, perfect.
Chris, Ruth and daughter Amelia from Surbiton in South London are relocating to West Sussex with a budget of £950,000. They're hunting for a character property that will offer them more space as their young family grows. We've shown them 2 very different houses, but so far we've hit sticking points with the layout and the commute time. As our search enters the second day, it's time for our final property with grand, open-plan living that's really something to behold.
It's a stunning space. It's to my style, definitely.
And I'll be visiting an Edwardian cinema gem and reliving some golden moments from the movies.
Bravo! Day 2 here in West Sussex, and last night I was talking to Ruth. She was being very diplomatic about that second house. She said, oh, it might be a bit far for Chris's commute. But actually, it turns out it's very close to where her parents live. She spoke to them on the phone, and they both agreed that that sort of proximity might not work. Anyway, the mystery house. Now, this is a great big fat curveball, but we're going to throw it at them. And one thing I'm hoping, it's going to make them dance.
Chris and Ruth might be in for a bit of a surprise with our mystery house. It's located on a private estate in the village of Colgate, just 4 miles from Horsham. Nestling within the St Leonard's Forest, this tiny village is part of the high-weald area of outstanding natural beauty. The approach to Colgate is flanked by an early English-style Victorian church, and at the heart of the community is the local pub and village hall. This idyllic West Sussex location is bordered by Roffey Park, the very exclusive address of our final property.
The mystery house. I don't know why I'm looking at this bit, because this is not actually the bit we're interested in, it's this bit. But this is Roffey Park, built in 1890s. What we're looking at actually is the ballroom.
Wow.
So a bit of a curveball, not what you were expecting.
No, not at all.
No, very different.
Very close to your sisters,
Yeah.
10 minutes away from Horsham.
Yeah.
So much further north. It's an unusual property. And actually, from the outside, can't really imagine what's inside.
No,
No, exactly.
no, you really can't.
I'm very curious to see
Yeah.
what's inside. Yeah,
Good. Can't wait to see it.
This large brick and stone built side wing to the main house was built in 1921 as a 21st birthday present for the daughter of the estate's owner. This former ballroom was converted to a self-contained house in 1995 with the addition of a first and second floor, which are tricky to detect from the outside.
Come straight on in to the big event.
Good.
It was a ballroom. It's a big old space.
Wow.
Oh, my word.
I certainly didn't expect this from the outside.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is.
There's so much to take in.
Take it in.
Yeah.
We've got the fireplace, you know, big bay window. It's gorgeous.
Can you imagine yourself in this sort of space?
No,
Chris can.
I think it's definitely a big adjustment.
From where we're coming from.
I think I'm quite keen to see the rest of it, just to see how it flows through to the bedrooms.
My attention is immediately drawn to the spiral staircase, and that, I'm afraid for me, concerns me with small children. But that aside, it's to my style, definitely.
Well, it seems our 1920s ballroom is evoking a mixture of emotions so far. The downstairs of this property offers our buyers a massive 1,400 square feet of living space, with the lion's share of this being open plan. And to retain the full opulence, the developers pushed the additional rooms out to the 4 corners. Nestled under the mezzanine is the dining area, and a snug, which could be perfect as a playroom for daughter Amelia. Then off the wood-panelled entrance hall is an elegant cloakroom, and lastly, a rather compact kitchen.
Now, I can imagine you might find this kitchen a little small for a family.
Yes.
It's not that small.
It's a really nice kitchen. They've done it very well.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know
not-
about moving it. I could see the big room having the kitchen in the far side, overlooking the garden.
But I think for this kind of place, the kitchen belongs here. So I'd be reluctant to move it.
Well, I get the impression you would be reluctant to buy it anyway.
I think so.
So it's sort of academic.
Yeah.
Let's look upstairs there, because there's some nice spaces up there.
Excellent.
Lead the way.
OK, thank you.
There are still some divided opinions here, and it appears that there's a little part of Chris that is really taking a shine to our mystery property. But can I win Ruth around with the remainder of the conversion? The mezzanine level houses a family bathroom, an office area, as well as the master bedroom. Making the most of that grand main window, this room is flooded with light and has commanding views over the grounds. It also benefits from an ensuite bathroom. But this mystery house just keeps on giving, rising yet another story to offer a further 2 bedrooms and plenty of storage. Off the landing is a single bedroom and then potentially another master.
It's amazing, this house, because you really don't think from the outside that it would have 3 stories.
No.
So this room upstairs is probably the biggest. Lots and lots of storage space, walk-in wardrobes. Here you've got an ensuite.
I've got a voice in my head from a friend saying, you've got to take it. It's just got a James Bond feel. It's very wow.
You come back to my ballroom and let's dance.
Yeah.
I'm getting the evil eyes from Ruth.
It's all a lovely thought, but I've got my practical head on and I'm thinking, no, it's not going to work for us. Not with little children.
Well, you know, it's the mystery house. We always like to throw a curveball. But let's go outside and talk about the price, because you might be interested in that.
Definitely.
I think Chris is clearly taken with the movie lifestyle feel that comes with this property, but Ruth's practical head is definitely overruling her heart. I'm sure the ample grounds that come with the house won't fail to impress them both. With almost stately home grandeur, wide cascading stone steps lead down to a vast sweeping lawn. Mature trees and hedgerows break up the glorious vista. There's no denying these shared grounds would offer Amelia an extraordinary adventure playground.
What do you think of these grounds?
They're beautiful.
19 acres.
Yeah, that's impressive. Plenty of places to play hide and seek.
Yeah, gosh, you'd be looking for Amelia for weeks in here. So this is a freehold Grade 2 listed property, part of a very exclusive estate. What do you think the price of the mystery property is?
I'm going to go in at 925.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be above that. I'm going to do 950, our top end.
So this is on the market for £825,000.
Wow.
That's a lot less than we expected. Wow.
So, yes, obviously all that, you know, swagging and
Yeah.
mirrors and ballroom kind of bedazzles people.
Yes.
It'd be a nice dream, but I don't think it's going to quite work.
Fair enough.
I can see one of my friends wanted to buy it though.
OK, well, pass on the details. Why don't you go in and explore, because there was quite a few little rooms and there's lots of nooks and crannies, or just relax in that lovely space. And I'll come and collect you when we're ready to go.
Thank
We can
you.
go and have a dance.
Oh, do! Have a little waltz.
See you later.
Thank you.
Oh, it is a sort of fantasy prince and princess venue. And I imagine little Amelia would love it, dancing around. But maybe Ruth is right, it's not entirely practical, but what a lovely mystery house.
Rather surprisingly, this Grade 2 listed mystery house comes in £125,000 under budget. Ruth has reservations, but it does offer very grand living with its vast ballroom reception space, 3 bedrooms, extensive mature grounds, and great links to London from nearby Horsham Station. With Chris and Ruth not seeing eye to eye on the mystery house, perhaps another look around will leave them dancing to the same tune.
I'd love to hold a party in here.
Yeah, we could come up here and say, welcome one, welcome all, cheers. Very nice.
Perhaps not a children's party.
No, perhaps not. I think secretly, I really do like this house. I think it's got a lot of mystery to it, and I could see, perhaps at a different time in life, I could see us perhaps being here. But I'm sure you don't agree.
I don't think there's any chance we'll be buying this place. I can't imagine us as a family living here. It's just not practical for us.
We've seen 3 very different properties, and I think there's bits of each property that have probably hit the right areas.
Just need to combine them.
It is very grand. That's one thing you can say about this property, and no question. Hello, did you have a
Hi.
dance?
Oh, yeah, you had a boogie.
Oh, how sweet. Right, let's find somewhere where we can gather our thoughts and think about everything we've seen this week.
Sounds good.
Our Mystery House is just one of the many architectural splendours that are scattered across this county. In the elegant Georgian town of Worthing, as well as the Grade 1 listed pier, there's this, the Dome, home to one of the oldest working cinemas in the country. I've come to meet the general manager, Ross McLaughlin, to find out a little more about this extraordinary place.
Morning, Ross.
Hi.
Thanks for taking the time. What an amazing building. It's like a real jewel. Right on the seafront as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely place.
What's the history of it?
It was opened in 1911 by a Swiss man named Carl Siebold, who was one of 13 children and had grown up in a sort of musical background.
When Siebold opened the Dome over a century ago, it must have appeared years ahead of its time. The first multi-purpose leisure complex, offering extensive gardens, a roller skating rink, and the Electric Theatre, which showed short, silent cartoons.
So was there lots of films being made in 1911?
There would have been a lot of short films from abroad, things like Niagara Falls on film, that they'd never have seen otherwise. There would have been the occasional fictional feature, but it would have largely been foreign wonders of the world.
And did you have the kind of the man on the organ like them?
Yeah, well, they when it opened, it was actually often Carl Siebold who would perform on the piano to accompany the films.
So he was the multitasker?
Yes, quite.
Brilliant.
In 1921, with a burgeoning movie business, Siebold swapped skaters for film enthusiasts, and the Dome became a firm fixture on the cinema scene. Today, much of its Edwardian splendour has survived thanks to a £2.5 million grant. And although this cinema had to upgrade to meet modern digital technology, up here in the projection room, there is still one relic from the golden age of film. I'm here to meet projectionist William Phillips to find out a little bit more.
Wow, this is a great beast.
Yeah, it's about 70 years old, this projector.
70?
Yes.
Wow. So this is where the light comes from, is it?
Yeah, all the light's generated by burning 2 rods of carbon together. And when it's time to project, you open up and the light goes through the projector and through the film.
So it's literally on fire in here?
It does get very smoky.
Ah. And now we've gone on to this more...
We've gone on to the digital projector, so this is now the way the film survives.
So that's not so exciting for you, for this projectionist. It is proper cinema history.
It is.
Have you got anything I can watch?
Yeah, certainly you can watch this roll of film.
Oh, wonderful. I can get myself popcorn. Really nice to meet you, Will.
And you.
Thank you.
It's so lovely this building is still working as a cinema, having screened movies from the silent era right through to today's Hollywood blockbusters. All that remains is to grab a snack, for William to fire up the projector, and for me to sit back and enjoy some real classic movie moments.
God, I look so young. Oh. The terrible horseman. Oh. Bravo.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Well, the ballroom didn't have quite the fairy tale ending I was hoping for, but hopefully in these gracious surroundings I'll be able to get to the bottom of what really stuck this week. OK, I got the impression, well, I didn't get the impression, you told me quite bluntly that the Mystery House wasn't a goer, but did any of our other properties strike a chord?
Number 2 was a great family home, but the location was just a little bit too near my parents, and they won't mind me for saying that. But yes, I think location and that family feel to a home is important to us.
Chris, you mentioned that things had become clear in terms of your wish list. Can you enumerate what those things might be?
One thing's been important is the idea of the entertainment kind of space and the flowing between the rooms in the house. I think the first one was more of a holiday let. It just felt like there's somewhere you go with your friends for a weekend and it's meant to be an empty place, whereas the second one really had that kind of home feeling to it. I think if we could pick that up and move it, I think that would definitely be the one.
Oh, if I could invent that machine that could pick houses up and move them, I'd be a very wealthy man.
Yes.
Are you actually sure that you want to live in the countryside?
We do, but the location of the house, I think, could be on the edge of a town. and we have all our amenities to the left and then the countryside to the right. I don't know.
Well, sometimes that happens, things become clear.